This is where UFOs and UAPs coming. There's unique ways of conducting UFO and UAP investigations. It's just not the same as a criminal investigation or even an espionage investigation. Project Aquarius, and I'm not releasing anything that's classified anymore, but Project Aquarius was the United States government investigation of UFOs and UFO-related incidents from 1947 to present time. My name is Richard Doty. I'm a former intelligence officer with the Air Force Office of Special Investigations. Did a lot of things in my life. During my career as OSI, I was in the Special Projects Branch. And today I'm going to discuss exactly what the Air Force Office of Special Investigations Special Projects Branch does. It was founded in 1948 when the National Security Act created the United States Air Force. Before 1948, the Air Force was a part of the United States Army. It was called the Army Air Force. But there wasn't an investigative unit within the Army Air Force. Back in those days, the Office of Strategic Services did the intelligence operations for the military. The first director of the AFOSI was Joseph Carroll. He was assistant director of the FBI under J. Edgar Hoover. And when the Air Force was created, J. Edgar Hoover loaned Mr. Carroll to the AFOSI. He was given a rank of Brigadier General, and he took over charge of AFOSI. AFOSI has the following branches: the Criminal Investigations Branch, which conducts criminal investigations within the United States Air Force and also other agencies such as the National Security Agency and the Defense Intelligence Agency. Also conduct fraud investigations, computer crime investigations. They also provide protective services. That means they're similar to the United States Secret Service. They protect high-ranking Air Force dignitaries. And within the Counterintelligence Division is the Special Projects Branch, which I worked. AFOSI Special Project Branch is charged with developing and implementing security policies and procedures for special access programs. We're talking about programs that are so sensitive, are so highly classified, that a lot of people within the Air Force doesn't even know about it. The Special Projects Branch guides and directs security-related activities of all programs involving advanced research and development. That means any advanced research projects that are occurring at Air Force bases throughout the United States, particularly within the Air Force Technical Research Area, such as Groom Lake, or we call Area 51. All the special projects that are occurring out there, the research and development into new aircraft technologies or new laser technologies, are being protected by the Special Project Branch of AFOSI. The Special Project Branch also provides counterintelligence support to Air Force and other governmental agencies' special activities operations. Within the Air Force, we have what we call the special tactics. They're the special forces of the Air Force. They're made up of combat controllers. They're modeled first out. They jump in areas, set up drop zones. Special reconnaissance forces, they go in prior to even the Army and recon the area. And also the pararescue people. They require to have tactical intelligence in order to do their mission. The Special Project Branch provides that intelligence to the Special Tactics Command of the United States Air Force. The Special Project Branch also conducts classified investigations and special operation missions to protect vital U.S. Air Force programs and projects. This is where UFOs and UAPs coming. When there's a investigation involving a UFO landing or contact with an extraterrestrial involving Air Force personnel or other military agencies, the investigative part of OSI that does those investigations is the Special Projects Branch. The Special Projects also supports and directs defense intelligence agencies and national security agencies, meaning that they provide the technical support and the intelligence investigative support on special projects within the Defense Intelligence Agency and the national security agencies. That's done by the Special Projects Branch. Let's talk a little about who the Air Force OSI special agents are. They're recruited out of the Air Force, uniformed personnel, or civilians. There's approximately an equal number of military personnel that are agents and personnel that are civilians or government. Their entry level is they have to go through the Federal Law Enforcement Academy at Glencoe, Georgia, and that's an 11-week course. And then OSI agents attend their own academy, which is 12 weeks at Glencoe, Georgia. And after that, they're given specialized training into the different areas that they're going into, such as polygraph examiners. Polygraph examiners go through special training to be certified as lie detector technicians. There's also computer crimes investigators, forensics, special operations and counterintelligence and counterespionage training. This is where I came into play. I was given special training as a counterintelligence officer. In order to receive a certification to special projects within OSI, you have to attend the intelligence operations course, and that's at Belvoir, Virginia. It consists of 16 weeks of pretty demanding training, and not everyone who starts the training graduates from the training. I'll give you a little example of what the training consists of. They actually bury you in a hole to see if you could withstand stress. They don't tell you how long you're going to be down there. Eventually you come out. They only give you one meal, a blanket, your clothes you're wearing, and a little pot to provide relief for yourself. When you come out, they ask you how long you've been there, and you don't know because there's no way of keeping track of time. And I forgot to mention the fact that when you're buried in this hole, there's no light. It's completely dark. Most people can't stand that. They panic and they exit the training. And most all the other training within the Special Projects Branch is classified. I can't go into great details about what that consists of, but it's highly classified. But some of it I can talk about consists of deep cover investigations. How to conduct an investigation without anyone knowing you're doing it, especially the target. The person you're going after, you're conducting an investigation against that person, but you don't want them to know that you're conducting that investigation. How do you do that? Though they train you how to do that, using covers, different cover names, both mis and disinformation. You also are trained to conduct investigations that involve unidentified flying objects, which is what AFOSI called it when I was in, or UAP, which is what they call it today, unidentified aerial phenomena. And that can consist of just seeing something in the sky and not knowing what it is, especially pilots during missions, seeing something flying and not knowing exactly what that is, and later on reporting it to their supervisor, and eventually getting it filtered down to the Air Force, OSI, and special agent, who would then turn it over to the Special Projects agent, which would be me. There's unique ways of conducting UFO and UAP investigations. It's just not the same as a criminal investigation or even an espionage investigation. There's so many uniquenesses to a UFO and a UAP investigation, such as the secrecy of it. Because what you're investigating could very well be some kind of secret or exotic technology that the Air Force is testing that somebody saw and wasn't supposed to see. We also were trained in conducting investigations that involve disinformation or misinformation. In the manual, you're not going to see the word disinformation. You're going to see the word misinformation. The disinformation is a counterintelligence type of investigation for deception. It's called deception operations in the manual. The misinformation is the information that you provide to a target to disinform it. And finally, conducting investigations into alleged abductions by ETs. These are very, very unique investigations. It takes a lot of training, expertise, and a little psychology to investigate those types of investigations. From 1978 to 1988, AFOSI agents assigned to special projects were given a code. We were called 9Qs. That was only known within the agency. So if an OSI agent said, we need a 9Q at this location, they knew that that's going to be myself, somebody that's trained in investigating these special projects. 9Q agents were briefed into special access programs under Project Aquarius. Project Aquarius, and I'm not releasing anything that's classified anymore, but Project Aquarius was the United States government investigation of UFOs and UFO-related incidents from 1947 to present time. And in some 9Qs actually received additional training which involved deeper understanding of Project Aquarius. And I was one of those agents. The investigation, the official investigations of UFOs within the United States Air Force ended supposedly in 1969 when the Condom Report was written. Before that, there was such a thing as Project Blue Book. Project Blue Book was the investigation of sightings of UFOs by Air Force military personnel or even civilians. There were 112 AFOSI detachments throughout the world from about 1952 on that investigated under Project Blue Book. And remember, before Blue Book, we had Project Sign and Project Grudge, which led to Project Blue Book, which was more of an organized investigation into UFOs, primarily in the United States and Canada. The Condom Report, officially called the Scientific Study of UFOs, was published in December 1968 and thus ended the United States Air Force official investigations of UFOs. Remember, official. Well, it didn't. The United States Air Force secretly continued to investigate UFOs and UAPs activities under various classified programs. And why? Why was this? Why did the Air Force continue? The sightings of UFOs didn't stop in December of 1969 with the Condom Report. People and Air Force pilots, Air Force ground personnel, military ground personnel, United States Navy ships continued to encounter UFOs. They had to be investigated. Was there a threat to national security? The Condom Report was unclassified. There wasn't any classified portions of the Condom Report. But few people knew that part of that Condom Report was a secret investigation by the Air Force, which said, we can't stop investigating UFOs because there may be a threat to national security. And so we have to continue to investigate these claims of sightings of aerial objects, ET contacts. The Air Force continued to investigate, as I said earlier, under various classified programs involving AFOSI. From 1947 to 69, the Air Force conducted investigations, as I said, under Project Blue Book. Authentic cases were turned over to AFOSI. Now, a UFO investigator went out to the field and encountered something that was official or something that was unexplained, clearly unexplained, then OSI was brought into it. An example of this was the Lonnie Zamora case near Socorro, New Mexico in 1964. Lonnie Zamora was a police officer with the Socorro Police Department. He was on patrol and he saw an object land in an area southeast of the city of Socorro near a gravel pit. He drove out there to investigate. When he got out there, he saw an object on the ground, oval-shaped object with a signia inside of it. He also saw two people, he thought, outside this object. He couldn't identify. So immediately he contacted his dispatch and asked for a backup. The backup was Sergeant Sam Garcia from the New Mexico State Police. He went out there to assist Lonnie Zamora. The whole case was probably the most believable case in Project Blue Book history up to that point. And this was in 1964, in May of 1964. Immediately, the Air Force brought special teams in, including AFOSI agents, who started an investigation into that incident. Back in those days, the OSI were given codes during their investigative process. Any investigation with an OSI was given a case file, a number. The first number is the year it was started. The second number was the district that are investigating it. The next three numbers were codes for different types of investigations. And then after that, there was a sequence. And these codes were from 840 to 845. For instance, 840 was a sighting of an actual ET craft in the air. Now I'm saying an actual ET craft. If it was just an investigation started, they didn't code it anything special. But if they determined it was an actual ET craft through the investigative process, they were given a code, and that was 840. These numbers consist of sightings of actual ET crafts on the ground, actual ET crafts in the air, or somehow identifying it through an Air Force contact, such as an Air Force pilot. An actual physical contact with an ET craft is 843, and an abduction incident would have been at 845. These are the codes that we used during my time in OSI. The investigation process could involve the following: personal interviews of witnesses. For instance, a person comes in or makes contact with an OSI agent or even a civilian police agency and reports some kind of contact with a possible ET. We would go out and interview the witness. Now, I have to say that most of the cases that I was involved with from 1978 to 1988 were easily explainable objects, such as a case out of Stapleton Airport in Denver, the old airport, Stapleton. United Airlines changed the configuration of their landing lights on their planes, on their jets, their passenger planes. People around the airport saw these strange lights flying all around the airport. They immediately reported seeing UFOs. At that time, Lowry Air Force Base was in existence at Denver. These reports were made to the OSI at Lowry, claiming that there were flying saucers all over the airport area. Well, it was easily explained that what they thought were flying saucers were actually new landing lights configurations on United Airlines planes, which eventually these lighting configurations were on other planes. What we did when we couldn't explain it was we delved into it. We tried to figure out exactly what it was. Our primary concern was, what if it was a research and development project, a highly classified project, such as the F-117, or before that, the SR-71 reconnaissance plane, or the new version of the U-2 plane, or some other exotic technology that we're testing. Now, the Air Force didn't only test fly these things around, which we call Area 51, or the Nellis Test and Training Range. They sometimes ventured out into other areas of the United States. People would see them, report it, thinking it's UFOs. We would investigate. If it was in fact a research and development project, we might make the people or infer that it might be a UFO, let them think that it was a UFO. in order to keep whatever research and development project was in existence or flying in an area secret. And I was involved in that. We sometimes, if something was an actual case, we might do other investigative work, such as surveillances, consensual, non-consensual. If we thought somebody, American citizen, or primarily an Air Force person, because we were the Air Force Office of Special Investigation, was in contact with somebody we thought was a real alien, we might do surveillance on them. Now we have consensual surveillance and non-consensual. The consensual is we're telling them, hey, we're gonna watch you. We're gonna watch your house, we're gonna watch your car, we're gonna follow you around. Non-consensual, of course, is we're not telling them that we're following them. And then there's such things as court-ordered surveillances. Now, a court-ordered surveillance is under a special court. It's called a FISA court, Federal Intelligence Surveillance Court, where we would submit an affidavit for a search warrant to conduct electronic surveillance, bugging their house, bugging their car. Now, in order to do this, we would really have to have good, reasonable suspicion that this person was in contact with something that we didn't know, or something exotic or strange. And these counterintelligence investigations were highly classified, highly recorded. And sometimes at the end of the investigations, we would tell the target or the person that we were surveilling what we did. And then other times we wouldn't. And we would also use polygraphs or psychological examinations of the person. And these consisted of hypnotic interviews. And one of the things that OSI, and only OSI, developed during the years was a hypnotic polygraph examination. Putting a person under hypnosis and then giving them a polygraph examination. Pretty difficult to lie when you're under hypnosis. AFOSI may seek advice from other agencies such as the FBI, the CIA, DIA, all these alphabetic agencies. And I always clarify these agencies because a lot of viewers, when I say DIA, they're not sure what that means. So I'm gonna explain it. CIA is the Central Intelligence Agency. The Central Intelligence Agency is responsible for providing detailed intelligence to the policymakers of the United States. Their jurisdiction is outside the United States. They have limited jurisdiction within the United States, given to them by the Patriot Act of 2001, only for terrorist-related situations. The Defense Intelligence Agency, or DIA, is worldwide. They have some jurisdiction within the United States. NSA is a national security agency. They're the ones that control the satellites, or they collect signals from all over, either Earth or outside Earth. When we could detect espionage occurring, regardless of what it is, and it could very well be, believe it or not, an American or an Air Force person giving classified information to an ET, that would be considered espionage. And within the United States, the FBI is the primary agency that's responsible for espionage investigations. They may turn them over to OSI if it involves a military person, but primarily it's the FBI. All investigations involving UAPs or UFOs or ET contacts are always coordinated through the Defense Intelligence Agency. They have the clearinghouse of all the information that we collect, we give to them. But most of the special project investigations that we conduct are easily settled without any kind of court action. And a lot of the investigations we do pertaining to UAPs or UFOs or ET contacts are non-criminal investigations. Just because you have a contact doesn't mean you're going to get into any trouble with anyone. Cases involving threats against the United States we take serious. And we conduct very detailed investigations when there's some type of threat imposed by something that we don't know. We conduct very detailed investigations. We go to the limits, as I discussed earlier, regarding surveillances, getting warrants. We do it all, and we do it all very well. That concludes my presentation on the Air Force Special Projects. Air Force OSI has various branches. The most important branch within the Counterintelligence Directorate is the Special Projects branch. They're the real men in black out there on the street, believe it or not. They're conducting investigations that nobody else can or might not be able to conduct. So I hope you enjoyed this presentation on the Air Force OSI Special Projects. I'm Richard Doty. Thank you for watching.
If you liked this video and you want to see more amazing content, go ahead and check out the next video on our channel.